Welcome back to 6 Foot Sports, the deeper side of sports. Once again, if you don't know, I am TJ, and I'm sitting here with Anne Donovan. And Coach, we were simply just talking about your 200th win when you were at Connecticut. How was that feeling?
It was a great feeling. I tend, as you know, I don't like to talk about my accomplishments very much, but the 200 win milestone was significant to me because I've been given an opportunity in the WNBA, and it's my job to make the most of that. So it was, for me, that was significant for that reason, is I want other women to come up through the ranks and have an opportunity and then to be successful with it.
Something that stood out to me, and this actually just stood out to me right here, right now, is the fact that you actually left the Liberty. If you were to stay with the Liberty instead of going to Seton Hall, you would have actually had your 200th win. So why did you leave the WNBA to enter into college basketball and specifically Seton Hall?
You know, it's an interesting question because it was an unusual jump. But for me, I was really excited to go to Seton Hall. You know, it was a small school, Christian-based, in Newark. I loved that environment. I love coaching kids from the city, and I love the idea of mentoring. And you know, my mantra when I was at Seton Hall is I want at the end of your 4 years, at the end of your eligibility, to be successful women, not be a straight A student, not be an All-American, but just to be independent and have a vision and to go after your own identity. So I love that aspect of getting back into college. And in the WNBA, as you know, that doesn't happen. You know, the girls are grown. They don't really want a lot of mentoring. It just seemed like the right fit.
So was the fact that you were born in Jersey had nothing to do with it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that had something to do with it. Yeah, and I was in New York with the Liberty, so I was close to home.
Yeah.
But I'm a Jersey girl at heart. So the opportunity to come back closer to my family, 2 sisters that live very close to me, it was really appealing.
So how was the difference of coming in from the WNBA to now coming into college basketball? Was it the same? What was the similarities and the differences?
What I love about the WNBA is players still want to get better. They don't feel like they know it all. That's the beauty of the women's game. So you're refining skills. But in college, you know, you're working on all aspects of a basketball player's skill development, all aspects, both ends of the floor, mentally, physically, and then you have all the other stuff, you know, academic development, emotional development, community service. So there's a lot more entailed in college athletics, and so I love that piece of it.
Was Seton Hall supposed to be it for you, or were you trying to go to Seton Hall and probably go back to the WNBA, or was Seton Hall your final destination?
I really thought it was my final destination, but I've had a couple of those in my life. I did. I thought it was my final spot, and you know, it was a struggle off the court, outside of our women's basketball world. There was a struggle there for me with administration, and I think the people that hired me were not still there, and so the visions didn't match up, and that was just too much to overcome.
So you went back and you went actually to the Connecticut Suns again. Is that like your hometown? Is that where where your heart lies when it comes to coaching, or?
I have to say the Liberty in Seattle. I won a championship in Seattle.
Yeah, 2004.
That's right. So that's near and dear to me. And I grew up watching the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. So that stint with the Liberty was really special to me. Connecticut was great. It brought me to a different part of the world. I hadn't lived in Connecticut before, and coaching different set of great players. So it was just another step. You know, I've had so many different experiences in the WNBA. I've coached a lot of teams in the league. So it's been a big journey for me. And I look at Connecticut as just one more stop in that journey.
A lot of people don't know you actually getting into Seton Hall was not your first college basketball experience. Do you think you'll ever coach college basketball again?
I think at this point in my life, I'll say that I probably will not. You know, we talked a little bit about recruiting.
Yeah.
It's just not something I ever truly enjoyed doing. And at this point in my life, I'm hoping I don't have to move again, to be honest. And if I were to go back into the WNBA, I can still keep my home in North Carolina. If I went to college coaching, I'd have to move.
So it sounds like you're actually interested in coming back to coaching.
You know, I'm not sure that door has closed for me yet. I still love it. I watch all the games. You know, I follow the college as closely as I do the WNBA. So I don't know if that door is still open a crack or not. And very honestly, I'm kind of at a crossroads right now and trying to figure out if there's a different journey that I'm supposed to be on. So I'm in the discovery process, I guess.
As we all, I know I'm in that discovery process as well. You know, you mentioned something of possibly coming back to the WNBA, which would be, I actually feel like the WNBA needs you, you know,
Appreciate that.
In my opinion, especially in the direction that the WNBA is heading right now, with it being the 20th anniversary of the WNBA. But where do you see the WNBA in the long run?
You know, all the dialogue around our 20th anniversary has been really interesting to me because nobody thought we'd be here 20 years. So the optimist in me thinks this is unbelievable, and there's so many naysayers that didn't think we would stick. Well, we've stuck. We've stuck for 20 years, and we're going to be here for another 20.
You heard that right here. 6FootSports, you heard that.
The inside scoop. So I feel good about it. Is there a lot that we need to do? Absolutely.
What do you feel needs to get done?
It's, you know, the issues is financially, they can't pay players more money than they're currently making. You know, you have to get money to give money. And so
don't you find that strange, sorry to interrupt, but don't you find that strange that they're actually thinking about paying college athletes and they don't want to necessarily pay WNBA players more? So what do you feel would happen if college female basketball players were to get paid, you know, and the money was to stay the same in the WNBA?
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting. And that's the problem we currently have with so many players in college that, you know, they charter planes to go travel, and then they come to the WNBA and we're flying domestic, you know, at all hours of the day and night, and, you know, getting home after 2 a.m. and playing a game the next day, and, you know, not having people in the stands. And so many college programs are well supported and they have thousands of people, and WNBA, they don't graduate to any bigger experience. So I think it's a struggle, but the difference between college and pros is that college is protected by Title IX. So we have, you know, universities that have to, by law, provide these opportunities for women and girls at the same level as the guys. You know, the WNBA is in private practice, so it is truly, it's just about business. You have to make money to pay players more.
Exactly.
So it's a struggle, but I believe, you know, incrementally it's going to continue to get better, and players' salaries will continue to grow very small amounts. But this is the price we pay for your grandchildren to be a successful professional athlete that gets paid to do what they love to do and not have the struggle that you have had, that I have had.
Agreed. And something that I feel that has to change, and we spoke about this, you know, on a phone conversation, you know, is basically that a lot of NBA players have to come to support WNBA players. You know, that has to be something that, you know, has to be done to bring in more media, bring in more marketing to these phenomenal girls that are actually busting their to make a statement in this league. But now that you see yourself recharged, you're ready to go, what team do you see yourself coaching if you was to go back into the WNBA?
There's still an if there. Okay. If I go back to the WNBA, if I find a different path, I just, you know, I feel like I'm at a crossroads and I'm not sure. But the good thing for me is, like, I love watching the WNBA again. I feel like I got maybe a little bit jaded and a little bit crusty, I guess. And I feel now that that's a possibility for me moving forward.
So, Coach, you've coached some amazing, great players. Who's your favorite player? Who stood out to you?
Stood out to me, TJ? Well, I mean, I have coached some phenomenal players, but there are some that are really dear to my heart. And I'm looking at one of them, for sure.
Thank you. And you know what, Coach, that meant so much to me to hear. And just to sit down with you today was a lot for me. I was a little nervous, but you know what? You definitely helped me with those nerves. Thank you, Coach. And reminder to my viewers to comment, rate, and subscribe for more amazing, great, phenomenal, genuine content on 6FootSports, the deeper side of sports.